One of the big things here is the fact that Conte himself, even leading up to it, he's got a year left on his contract. He signed a 3-year deal when he arrived. And he said, well, about the future, we'll sit down with the club calmly, let's see, blah, blah, blah. It's code for, I want assurances. And the cold, hard reality is that Inter can't really give him assurances.
But what kind of assurances do you think he's looking for? So Pepe Marotta will stay as well. So you think that duo, that partnership that has worked well for them will be in there. So they can focus on who they can bring in, maybe. And is that what you mean by assurances? How much money would be available for transfers?
I think he's going to think that and I think rightly so, he's going to need 2 or 3 players to go and help the team challenge, help them play the way he wants them to play, which again, we only saw in spurts in the first half of the season. The way they played in the second half of the season was the way he felt they needed to play. It's not the way he wants to play. But the difficult thing is their parent company, Suning, Chinese retail conglomerate, they've said, we're going to focus on our core business. Chinese government, they're not under immediate pressure because the Chinese government said, hey, Suning, we think it would be a really good idea if you sold X amount of your shares to these 2 state private equity companies. Effectively, they become partners with the Chinese government. When Chinese government taps you on the shoulder suggesting something, it's normally a bit more than a suggestion. So, I don't think Suning are in a position where they can just pump money in and lose it at this point. I don't think Inter is going to be part of Suning's core strategy going forward. That's why Suning are looking for other investors, people who can be, so that Suning can maybe stay as minority partners, or maybe even still retain the majority but have somebody bring in fresh cash. That's difficult. On top of that, there is something like 220 or 250 million in bonds that mature in 2022, which they're going to need to refinance because they can't pay that money back if they don't refinance. And then on top of that, you still have an enormous squad, a huge wage bill. There's no financial fair play right now, but there will be some form of financial fair play going forward where you're going to have to square the books. And that's where I think it becomes challenging. You need to sell Conte on the idea that, hey, Conte, you did a great job with these guys. Let's sell what we can sell. Get rid of who we can get rid of. People who don't play, Vecino, Kolarov, whatever, say thank you. But we're going to have to replace them with kids, people from the youth team. We have this young striker, Pinamonti, under 21 international. He's only played a few times. You don't seem to like him very much. All right, we either sell him, or if you need a body, you need him. Play him. Find out.
Do you think Conte will then say, okay, I'm ready to take on this challenge and try to go and win another Scudetto and go and do better in the Champions League? Because we said about them being knocked out of the Champions League. Had they done better the last 2 seasons in the Champions League, that would have brought more money to the club.
Exactly.
And the pandemic hit as well. Or do you think he would be like, do you know what? I'm not sure of what this is going to look like for the next 2-3 years, so I'm out of this?
That's the really difficult choice. I think in Conte's favor is the fact that I don't think he wants to sit out again. I don't think he enjoys it when he goes and takes his sabbaticals and sits out.
I agree.
And I don't know that there's an obvious club that is going after him. I don't think he's going to return to Juve. I think that's been mooted. But I mean, that would be the ultimate triple betrayal at this stage. I don't know that his rep outside of Italy is necessarily that high. He's not somebody that we can imagine at Real Madrid or at Barcelona because of the style of play. So even those job openings that come up, I think Conte feels that he needs to go and win something important in Europe, where then all of a sudden jobs abroad, big jobs abroad. Italian media linking him to Spurs today, and
Surely.
I think it's all part of the dance that we play. I don't think Spurs are going for Conte and the other way around.
Because if you're Conte and you look at Serie A right now, and Juve are a mess, right? Napoli will probably change manager in the summer, and you don't know what likely to do. You don't know what's going to happen with the new manager. Sarri is going to Roma. I'm not sure they see Roma as a threat right now. Anyway, Milan, you could always argue that it's good, but there's always a bet with Milan. Atalanta are great, but it's still Atalanta, and they're a much smaller club. So potentially, you could easily win the Scudetto for the next 2 years and make it 3 in a row and build something very special for you as Antonio Conte at that club. You've got the best striker in Serie A in Lukaku. You've got some really good young players, as you said, there and there. If you can keep Lautaro as well as Bastoni and Barella, and Sensi will come back to his best level, and that would be another, almost like a new player. So there's also a lot of optimism to balance with the negativity that you mentioned with Suning.
There is, and I think the interesting thing is, a lot of times in these situations, the way you deal with it when you're a club like Inter, who you're trying to get back to that highest echelon, right? What you might say is, okay, we're going to sacrifice a big player and we're going to reinvest the money. I'm not sure Inter can do that right now, partly because of the pandemic, of the way it is and the way market's going to be. In terms of their saleable assets, you've got Hakimi, you've got Bastoni, and you have Barella, right? Those three are the three guys that can fetch you a lot of money if you need it. Oh, and Lautaro. But Lautaro's contract is winding down, so you need to extend his contract. You're not going to get much money for him in these circumstances unless you extend it. I think that's what makes it very difficult. And I think Conte, rightly, is going to say, no. I need those three guys. I need those three guys because those guys are young and there's going to be part of the future. So it's a really interesting dynamic. Watch the space. I hope, as you know, look, I've been naive and optimistic. As you know, I was naive and optimistic about the United conversation. I'm going to be naive and optimistic now.
Okay.
I'm imagining a more Zen-like Conte who says, you know what? I have bled these guys as much as I can. I'm a really good coach. I'm a really good teacher. I can work with younger players. The old guys, bye-bye. This whole spirit of the warrior, they'll get that from me. Yeah. And if Barella can be a warrior at his young age and Bastoni can be a warrior at his young age, I'm going to make it work. I'll bring back Esposito, Piemonte. I don't know whoever these dudes are who are on loan all over. And they're going to be my supporting cast. My 11 is set. I can do something with them next season, and we'll take it from there.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.